Bowdoin College with an invocation offered by the Reverend Robert E. Ives, a member of the Bowdoin College class of 1969 and the college's Director of Religious and Spiritual Life.
What a beautiful day for a graduation. Sky is blue, the sun is out, winds are warm. But truly within this place there is a sense of the sacred, there's an idea of the holy. Would you join with me now in prayer? As a ship sails forth from its harbor, sailors use bell buoys and lighthouses as the navigational aids to guide their journey. As travelers walk a mountain path, they use stone cairns and trail blazes as navigational aids for the journey. And as you, the class of 2016, go forth into the world before you, I would share with you navigational aids for that life journey. They come from the writings and the scriptures of the sacred traditions around the world. They come from Judaism and Islam, Hinduism and Christianity, Native American tradition and Buddhism, so many of the faith traditions represented within your very class of 2016. Today I share with you these sacred words as navigational aids for the new journey you shall soon begin. And so be strong. Be strong and of good courage. Hold fast to that which is good. Love and serve one another. The body is the temple of God. Do unto others what you wish others would do unto you. Do not do unto others what you would not want others to do unto you. Overcome anger with love. Overcome evil with goodness. Live simply that others might simply live. Let the beauty of what you love be what you do. The earth you stand upon is sacred ground. Do justice, love mercy, walk humbly with your God. Do all the good you can, by all the means you can, to all the people you can, as long as you can. And live without fear, love without reserve, and willingly work for the common good of all. And so, distinguished class of 2016, may these navigational aids guide your life journey and be the chart and compass for your daily living. And may God's special blessings abide and remain with you both this day and in the remarkable journey now before you. Amen.
The national anthem will be sung by graduating members of chamber choir, chorus, and student a cappella groups with accompaniment by George Lopez, Beckwith Artist in Residence.
Please be seated. Good morning. Welcome to the 211th commencement of Bowdoin College. I'm Deborah Jensen Barker, a member of the class of 1980, chair of the Bowdoin College Board of Trustees, and the proud parent of a student graduating here today. This morning, we gather to honor the members of the class of 2016, who soon will be graduates of one of the most distinguished colleges in the country and the oldest college in Maine. In fact, our college is older than the state itself, with an identity and a history that is inextricably linked to this beautiful and extraordinary place. I hope for those of you who are graduating today, walking this campus for 4 years, and living as a member of the Brunswick community and among the fine people of this Mid-Coast region have been important and memorable parts of your Bowdoin experience. And now it is my honor and privilege to introduce Clayton Rose, who, as our new president, will preside over his very first Bowdoin College commencement ceremony.
Thank you, Debbie. First, this is Maine, so it could be snowing. I'd just like to remind everybody it is hot. We've got hydration stations, and just make sure you stay aware of how hot it is and where you are in terms of water and so forth. Good morning, and welcome to this glorious celebration. Welcome to our honorands and our trustees, our faculty, staff, and alumni, our neighbors in Brunswick, and welcome especially to the family and friends who are here to celebrate this joyous occasion. Thank you for traveling from all parts of our country and all parts of the world to be here on the campus of the college that we love. And to our graduates, today one journey ends and another begins. Now, first things first, I'd like to ask our students to stand, turn and face your parents, your family, your friends, those who have supported you and love you, and thank them for all that they have done to help you get here with a rousing applause. You can sit now. This is our 211th commencement. In 1806, when our first commencement took place on these grounds, Thomas Jefferson was in the White House. Congress was only in its 9th term, and it would be 3 years before Abraham Lincoln would be born. The design of the campus has changed a touch, but the quad is now, as it was then, the emotional, if not physical, center of our campus. Massachusetts Hall, just over there, was standing and was occupied. Very few institutions have been as durable as Bowdoin, a place that embraces both change and a steadfast commitment to our values, both as essential elements of a great liberal arts education. Now, to our students, many congratulations, and I pass a message along of congratulations from Pete and Emmy, who insisted that I deliver that to you this morning when I left the house. You've completed a very challenging and compelling course of study. You've taken full advantage of the cultural, artistic, athletic, and dare I say, yes, the social aspects of Bowdoin as well. Your moments from leaving the world of being a student into joining are amazing and devoted alumni. Now, I'm going to ask you to stand again, and I promise this is the last time before you receive your degree. But I'd like you to give the faculty and the staff a round of applause for everything that they have done to make this experience so rich. Julianne and I have enjoyed beyond words the opportunity to come to know you. We're deeply grateful for the warmth and the friendship with which you have embraced us during the year. And we look forward to visiting with you as alumni of our college, whether it's back here on campus or in all of the places that you will call home. Thank you to our honorands, Dorothea Rockburn, Frank Shorter, Peter Small, and Darren Walker, for sharing yourself, your experiences, and your remarkable accomplishments with us. Dorothea, Frank, and Darren, welcome to the Bowdoin community. And Peter, thank you for everything you have done for Bowdoin for so many years. I'd like to also thank Debbie for her wisdom and her leadership as the chair of our Board of Trustees. She's stepping down from that role after 3 years, and for her amazing partnership during my first year as your president. Thank you, Debbie. On this Memorial Day weekend, I'd like us all to recognize two students, James Gibson Hartley and Brendan Lawler. Both were commissioned yesterday into the United States Marine Corps, and we are incredibly proud of both of you. Yesterday at Baccalaureate, I spoke about the virtues and the necessity of ruthless objectivity and boundless faith in attacking the most worthwhile challenges you face and to seek work that brings you joy. This morning, I want to leave you with a few thoughts on one of the most significant responsibilities and opportunities that you will face. And this is the need to find ways for open, honest debate and discussion about the hardest and most difficult social, political, and economic issues, discourse that we generally find uncomfortable and we sometimes find offensive. It seems to me that we have become a nation where far too often each of us happily exists in an echo chamber. We only engage with those of whom we agree with on tough issues. We become a nation and a world that are shaped by cable television. We go to the channel where we hear our views affirmed and where discussion usually takes the perspective of a one-sided rant or yelling or some kind of personal insult. This echo chamber and this cable TV model have profound consequences. The current state of our society is due to some great extent to our inability to listen carefully to the views of those with whom we disagree, to respect and understand those views, and to engage with those whose well-considered ideas may be at odds with our own. Now, much has been written lately about colleges and universities on this score, and in general, they point to the lack of a willingness to confront and debate hard ideas in our intellectual spaces, about the intolerance that can exist and that often manifests itself in an unwillingness to allow views with those that are different from our own to be heard. There is truth in these criticisms. Institutions of higher learning can and must do better. I spoke about this in my inaugural address last fall. We work hard at this at Bowdoin. Our students often lead the way and make us proud. But we are far from perfect. We must keep getting better. It will remain challenging. We're not going to waver. This is central to our mission. And so what about you, class of 2016? What about you out there in the real world? For you, this engagement is also essential as a life's work. You need to invest in yourselves in being able to have open, honest, and respectful discussion and debate on important issues with those that you disagree with. And this is true for at least 3 reasons. First, it allows you to test your ideas, to sharpen them, and to adjust them when you're persuaded that it may make sense. It allows you to have the most impact on the really hard issues you will face and the ones you care the most about. Your arguments will be weaker and incomplete without having tested them rigorously and without legitimately considering alternatives. Your ability to make change will be limited. The second reason is personal, selfish. Your lives will be richer and deeper for engaging in this way, for the exposure to different ways of thinking about an issue, for challenging yourselves, for wrestling with whether to affirm your views or change your mind. And this is part of a life well lived. To spend your life in the company of ideas and beliefs that never change and are never challenged suggests narrow-mindedness and isolation. And finally, democratic society depends on robust discourse. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche said, "The surest way to corrupt a youth is to instruct him to hold in higher esteem those who think alike than those who think differently." Isolation from different and uncomfortable ideas gives rise to alienation from civic life and to the rise of demagogues. And the generations that have come ahead of you, well, we have not always done this so well on this score. And so we now turn to you, class of 2016. Perhaps this is what President Hyde was getting at in the offer of the college when he said, to cooperate with others for common ends. Our civic life depends on you being better than we have been. The stakes are high, but you are more than ready for this challenge. I know this with certainty. You possess a powerful combination of intellect, knowledge, thoughtfulness, respect, and courage, and I have seen this firsthand. Be confident, be fearless, and engage. We are counting on you to do so. In the offer, Hyde described these as the best 4 years of your life. And for those who have come before you, those who have marched across these steps for the last 211 years, these were among the best 4 years because of the rich, wonderful, challenging, and rewarding experiences on campus, and the foundation of knowledge, skills, friendship, and deep sense of self that comes from these experiences, experiences that will make your lives richer every day. We honor you, and we celebrate all that you have accomplished. Class of 2016, many congratulations and Godspeed. One of my distinct pleasures is to be able to introduce our student speakers today. And as was true for the two students that spoke at Baccalaureate yesterday, these students were chosen through a competition where they submitted essays and then read them aloud to the committee that was made up of faculty and students. Our first student speaker is Rachel Snyder, winner of the class of 1868 prize. I'm pretty sure that Rachel didn't start in 1868, though. When Rachel first arrived at Bowdoin from Florida, she thought she wanted to study English, art, or something in the humanities. She said she dreaded math in high school, so it was a complete surprise to her that when she took an introductory economics course, she loved it. And 4 years later, she stands here today graduating as an economics major. She did not completely abandon her love for humanities. She's earned a minor in English as well. And this is the transformative experience of a liberal arts education. After graduating, Rachel moves to New York to begin a life in the world of finance. She says part of what's made her experience at Bowdoin so special is being able to share it with her younger sister, Molly, who will graduate in the class of 2018. During her time at Bowdoin, Rachel served as a director of the Senior Class Gift Campaign, a member of the Entertainment Board, a 4-year member of the Class Council, and a programming director at Quinby House. Rachel said that she wrote her commencement speech at her mother's urging as a way to say goodbye to Bowdoin and to gain some closure. Rachel's talk today is entitled, "The Time of Your Life."
President Rose, members of the college, and guests, I am honored and thrilled to have the opportunity to share a story with you today. As a child, I spent my summers at a camp not far from here in a town called Sweden, Maine. Now, if you didn't know this about Maine, it has the largest number of towns named for foreign cities and countries. There's Denmark, Sweden, and Norway. There's Madrid, Mexico, and Peru. The list goes on. But I digress. This is not a story about the many countries of this state. This is a story about time. Tapawingo was a traditional sleepaway camp where we French braided our hair and jumped in freezing lake water and made s'mores around the campfire. The summers felt particularly long back then, filled with days that seemed to feel more like weeks. We had a name for this phenomenon, tap time. Maybe it was the summer heat or the extra hours of sunlight, but time at camp had a completely different rhythm than the rest of the world. It wasn't until years later that I learned the truth. It turns out that tap time really exists as its own time zone. This small summer camp in the middle of Maine actually ran on its own standard time, about half an hour off of the rest of the world's clocks. I know, it's just as bizarre as it sounds. I'm still not totally sure why camp ran on tap time, but I like to think there was some important philosophical reason that motivated it. Camp was teaching us to live on our own time because we could, making the days a little longer just because we wanted them to be. Much like my bizarre summer camp, Bowdoin exists in its own unique time zone. From the moment we set foot on this campus 4 years ago, we set our clocks to Bowdoin Standard Time. Here, the days feel like weeks, and the weeks themselves fly by, filled with all of the meals we had and papers we wrote, the lectures we attended, and the parties we danced at. There are big chunks of time, like semesters and breaks that mark the academic year. The Bowdoin week starts on Monday at 1 and ends on Thursday at 2:30. There's the hour and a half that we spend in class each day, and the 45 minutes before we let ourselves check the clock. There's the time it takes to walk across campus, and how much time you'll save if you bike instead, or senior year, if you drive. There's the time in between meals and spent waiting in line at the dining hall on chicken tenders night. There's the time spent practicing at Farley and Studs. There's the hour in between class that's too short to do any real work, so you watch Netflix instead. There's the 7 hours of sleep you hope to get each night, and the 5 that you actually get. And then there's the 4 years it's taken us to get to this point. I like constructed time, keeping a planner to organize each set of 24 hours to make sure that I don't miss anything. But what happens when I don't have Bowdoin time to keep track of my day? What happens tomorrow morning when I wake up to find that May is actually the middle of the year and not the end of it? For our entire lives, we've lived in the spaces between summers, in the gaps between midterms and finals, in the world of academia. Maybe today is really a graduation from the academic calendar to the actual one. For the greater part of the past 20-some years, our lives have been planned and plotted. We've all moved along the calendar together, progressed at more or less the same speed. Whenever we looked out into the future, it seemed like there was always a foreseeable and stable next step. But now, the predictability of a perfectly mapped out future seems to disappear, and instead, all you can see is life, filled with nothing and everything at the same time. We're all on newly different schedules, measuring our lives at different paces with no clear outline to guide us. Some will measure time in the period before grad school, or the summer before they start work, or until they get married and have kids. We're no longer bound by the rhythms of Bowdoin, the days that are weeks, the semesters that are entire years. The prospect of organizing the rest of my life seems daunting, to say the least. There's free time, wasted time, time well spent, and precious time. We feel like time's running out, or, more often than not, that there's not enough time. No, there is never enough time. At Bowdoin, it was easy to fill your time. You joined clubs, or played sports, or made art and music. You studied alongside brilliant classmates under even brighter professors. There was plenty of time spent on things that were less thrilling. Hours spent in the harsh lighting of Hatch or the HL basement wondering, how would it all get done? It did, congrats. Or the time spent walking through the brutal cold when you asked yourself, why did I come to Maine? But for the most part, we were all fortunate enough to fill our days with knowledge we were interested in pursuing and people we wanted to spend time with. What a gift. We all know that Bowdoin teaches us how to think critically, worship our curiosity, confront adversity head on. But the more important lesson Bowdoin has taught us is to be engaged. Engaged with the common good, engaged with our intellect, engaged with each other, and more importantly, with ourselves. Bowdoin has taught us to be present in our own lives. We call today a commencement rather than a graduation. A beginning, not an ending. The clock starts now. So I guess the point is this. You have all the time in the world, and it's up to you to decide how to fill it. Like my strange camp, you now get to create your very own time. If anything, you've learned time management skills here. You wouldn't have survived without them. So use them to fill your days with meaning and embrace the uncertainty as endless possibility. Your time is now. Congratulations, class of 2016. I'm not sure what your future holds, but I hope that it's wonderful and complex and filled with meaning. What exactly comes next? Only time will tell. Thank you.
That was fantastic, Rachel. Thank you very much. It gives me great pleasure to introduce our second student speaker, Bill Delarosa, our Goodwood. Apparently, Bill is known to some in the crowd. Bill is our Goodwin Commencement Prize winner. Bill will share some of his remarkable and difficult story with you today. a story that began in Mexico and continued in Arizona, where his family moved when he was 7. Based on his personal experiences, Bill has dedicated himself to improving the lives of current and future immigrants. Among his many ways of engaging with this challenge, he's volunteered in the Sonoran Desert, bringing food, water, and medicine to sick and disoriented migrants. This spring, Bill led an alternative spring break trip to Arizona and Mexico to help educate Bowdoin students about the plight of migrants and to introduce them to humanitarian groups working at the border. For his honors project, Bill conducted ethnographic research looking into how U.S. border security policies have shifted patterns of migration and increased the danger of the journey from Mexico to the U.S. With his ability to both personalize and intellectualize, Bill has provided the Bowdoin community with a unique perspective on the national discourse on immigration. Bill is, to say the least, an accomplished student. A Truman Scholar, a Mellon Mays Undergraduate Fellow, a Bill Gates Millennium Scholar, and a Michael Dell and Susan Dell Scholar. And on top of that, he was recently named Hispanic Scholar of the Year. His work will continue after graduation as he's been admitted to Oxford University's master's program in migration studies. Bill's talk today is titled, "The Power of the Common Good."
President Rose, members of the college, and guests. I am thankful and honored to have been given the opportunity to share a personal message with you on this special day. On a warm September morning in 1802, standing beneath the pines in front of Massachusetts Hall, Joseph McKean, Bowdoin's first president, declared in his inaugural address, "It ought always to be remembered that literary institutions are founded and endowed for the common good, and not for the private advantage of those who resort to them for education." As I reflect on my 4 years at Bowdoin and the extraordinary privilege I've had attending a place like this, it is clear to me that I would not be standing here had it not been for, as you probably have guessed by now, the common good. I am a Mexican-American student who was born in a small border town known as Nogales, Arizona, but raised on the Mexican side, Nogales, Mexico. In 2000, when I was 7 years old, my family, in search of a better future, made the risky decision to move permanently to Tucson, Arizona. We left everything we owned in the small motel room where I spent my childhood and arrived in Tucson with no money, no place to go, no place to call home. We wandered a bit, sleeping wherever we felt safe, in our car, in alleyways, within trailer parks, until our savings slowly began to grow. When I was 8, my mother would make homemade flour tortillas and tamales, and I would go around the neighborhood door to door to sell them. $1 for a dozen tortillas, $8 for a dozen tamales. My mother earned a living cleaning rooms at our local Motel 6, and sometimes I would tag along to help her clean so she could come home a little bit earlier. In 2005, when I was 11 years old, my family, which now had 6 members, qualified for Section 8 housing. And for the first time in our lives, we had a place to call home, a place that was affordable, stable, and where we made many wonderful memories together. These memories, however, did not last long. In October 2009, my mother was deported from the United States to Mexico, and she was barred from returning to her home and family for 10 years. My mother is there now. And this is the reason why she was absent from my high school graduation, why she was not present in Missouri when I received the Truman Scholarship, and why she's not here today to see her beloved boy graduate from Bowdoin College. After my mother's removal from the United States, my father suffered a devastating stroke, and my older brother joined the Marines to serve this country and support our family. I was left with the responsibility and joy of looking after my father, my 9-year-old sister, and my 4-year-old brother. Today, as I reflect on my upbringing, I am aware that I could not have done this alone. Had it not been for the collective effort of my community, the hot meals delivered, the support I received from my friends, mentors, and siblings, the love and sacrifices of my parents, had it not been for the power of the common good, I would not be standing here, nor would you be sitting there. While my story is atypical, elements of it are universal. We all have enjoyed the sacrifices of parents, many of whom have taken loans and deferred dreams so that we could pursue our own. We all have families who have encouraged our success. We all have mentors and faculty who have pushed us to do more than we imagined. And we all have caretakers and friends who have supported us as we enter adulthood. They have been along this journey to success just as much as we. We should celebrate their contributions today. As I reflect on my 4 years at Bowdoin and think of all I have learned, there is no doubt that this campus is intellectually rich. We learn in the classroom from amazing professors and from the extraordinary guests we bring to this place: artists, activists, academics, and ambassadors. Bowdoin's intellectual stimulus, moreover, is paralleled by the learning that happens outside the classroom walls. The warm smiles we encounter in dining halls, the greetings we receive from custodians in residential dorms, and the groundskeepers who care for the environment model for us how we can make our mark in more individual ways. From the people who are sometimes rendered invisible, we learn about the differences we can make in others' lives and our environment when we are mindful. Being mindful of the privilege of our Bowdoin education, we must remember it comes with great responsibility. In a recent talk to students in California, Associate Justice of the Supreme Court Sonia Sotomayor said, "We have reached a privilege that most of our community members don't have. You're here because of all the people who came before you, who opened the doors to this college to you. And you have to keep those doors open for the kids who come after." Growing up, my mother would always tell me, "Hay que sembrar buenos frutos para cosechar buenas cosas." We have to plant good seeds to harvest great things. I would add that now that we are reaping the fruits of our labor and those who have supported us, it is our responsibility to help others plant their seeds. We all can contribute to the common good by making a meal for a neighbor, mentoring a new student, advocating for the environment, or engaging with global disparities. We all have the power of the common good. And it is my hope that through the common good we can make this world, this little piece of real estate that we call Earth, a more just and compassionate place, and that we will see ourselves as not just polar bears, but as citizens of this planet, a planet that is in great need of people willing to see beyond ethnicity, nationality, gender, religion, and ideological differences. The power of the common good allows us to do that, whether we serve in the public or the private sector. We must be confident about our own capacity to affect change on whatever level, and remember that each and every gesture has a value in this world. Enhorabuena, congratulations, class of 2016. Thank you, and gracias.
Mr. President, the President and the Board of Trustees have voted 4 honorary degrees to be awarded in accordance with the authority vested in you by the Board. As Chair of the Board of Trustees, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts, Dorothea Rockburn.
Dorothea Rockburn, internationally celebrated abstract painter, Bowdoin College honors you today as an artist and individual who embodies the spirit and meaning of the liberal arts. Throughout your career, your studies of mathematics and astronomy have profoundly influenced your artistic practice. Your paintings and drawings reflect the affinities between scientific ideas and your creative inquiry. Born and raised in Montreal, Canada, you began your artistic studies at the Montreal École des Beaux-Arts and continued them at the Montreal Museum School. Your mentors guided you to Black Mountain College in Asheville, North Carolina, where you joined fellow students Robert Rauschenberg, John Chamberlain, and others. You studied painting with Philip Guston, Franz Klein, Jack Dworkov, music with John Cage, dance with Merce Cunningham, and mathematics with Max Dane. Your close relationship with Max Dane altered your artistic vision. On your walks with him through nature, you gained a deep understanding of mathematical concepts from algebra and topology, which fundamentally influenced your subsequent work. The beauty and metamorphic properties of topological concepts were echoed in the work you chose to exhibit at Bowdoin last spring, some of which are currently on view at the museum on the occasion of your return visit. You have been the recipient of many prizes from within and outside the art world. These include a Guggenheim Fellowship in 1972, a National Endowment for the Arts Award in 1974, and awards from the American Academy of Arts and Letters in 1999, the National Academy of Design in 2002, the Pollock Krasner Foundation in 2003 and 2007, and the National Academy Museum in 2009. You have exhibited your work in both solo and group exhibitions all over the world. Your recent solo exhibitions were organized by the Parrish Museum of Art in 2011, the Museum of Modern Art in 2013, and the Bowdoin College Museum of Art last spring. While visiting Bowdoin in 2015, you showed our students of mathematics the true beauty of mathematics, inspired but not bound by algebra and topology. You showed our students of art that inspiration comes in many forms. You widened the horizons of all students and faculty who met you. You have demonstrated that mathematics and astronomy continue to inspire deep and meaningful art. You serve as a role model for young female artists. Your art enriches the public and will be enjoyed by generations to come. President Rose, on behalf of the college, I am pleased to present Dorothea Rockburn for the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts, honoris causa.
Dorothea Rockburn, by virtue of authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I now confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts, honoris causa. Congratulations, Dorothea.
As Chair of the Board of Trustees, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, Frank Shorter.
Frank Shorter, Olympic gold medalist, entrepreneur, author, Bowdoin College honors you today for your athletic achievements, your contributions to the culture of health and fitness, and your unwavering advocacy for fairness in sport and for those who have experienced childhood abuse. A graduate of Yale University, where you won the NCAA 10,000-meter track championship. You went on to earn a Juris Doctorate at the University of Florida, an astonishing 24 national distance running titles, and many of the world's most competitive marathons. In 1972, you represented the United States in the Olympic marathon in Munich. After finalizing your preparations at our Bowdoin College, where the U.S. Olympic track and field team gathered to train and where you completed runs familiar to many of us on Mere Point Road and on our then McGee, now McGee-Samuelson outdoor track. Your Olympic performance, in which you won gold, defeating your nearest competitor by more than 2 minutes, helped restore the Games to their purpose and ideals in the aftermath of the hostage-taking and deaths that marred the Munich Olympics only days before. You went on to earn a silver medal in the Olympic marathon in Montreal 4 years later. Your performances, your running apparel company, and your race organizing helped kindle the U.S. running boom and fostered greater dedication to lifelong fitness and health for many. You are a great champion of fairness in sport, having competed in an era that witnessed the rise of illegal performance enhancement. You contributed to the establishment of the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency and served as its chairman. You advocate for those who have experienced childhood abuse and have related your own wrenching experiences with abuse in articles and in your soon-to-be-released memoir, My Marathon, showing us once again that your courage ranges far beyond the race course. President Rose, on behalf of the college, I am honored to present Frank Shorter for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
Frank Shorter, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Congratulations, Frank. Thank you very much.
As chair of the Board of Trustees, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, Peter M. Small.
Peter M. Small, class of 1964, we are inspired by your gratitude, thoughtfulness, and generosity, three defining principles in your life, and your extraordinary record of service to Bowdoin College. You have often expressed how thankful you are for the many opportunities Bowdoin has created for your family through 5 generations, from your great-grandfather in the mid-1800s to your grandfather and father in the 1900s, and your son and daughter who graduated in the 1990s. You have thoughtfully led the college through nearly 30 years as an overseer and a trustee, serving as chair of the Board of Trustees from 2005 to 2010, and as a member of the 2014-15 Presidential Search Committee. Your talent as a leader in national real estate development and philanthropic initiatives has also enlightened us in the planning and funding of campus facilities and the residential life program, in creating stronger annual giving and capital campaigns, and in providing support for faculty and students, helping Bowdoin to grow intelligently in ever more inclusive and innovative standards of excellence. And you have let your gratitude and brilliance shine in generous deeds, serving in the U.S. Coast Guard right after your graduation, and participating in numerous altruistic endeavors that promote improved healthcare, education, and the fostering of community. Closer to your alma mater, the scholarship fund you created has helped students of many backgrounds flourish at Bowdoin since 1986, and the Peter M. Small Professorship has provided key resources for faculty research since 2007. I had the great honor to be the first recipient of this endowed fund, which allowed me to advance scholarship in the fields of Latin American poetry and ecological awareness. Peter, you teach us how to lead a thoughtful, generous life guided by the wisdom of gratitude. President Rose, on behalf of the college and with profound appreciation, I am honored to present Peter M. Small for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
Peter M. Small, on behalf of, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I present the Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Thank you.
As Chair of the Board of Trustees, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, Darren Walker.
Darren Walker. As a native son of Lafayette, Louisiana, raised in working-class communities in Texas, you ignored the cynics. They said the state's flagship college was no place for a young black man, yet you earned not one, but 2 undergraduate degrees and a law degree at the University of Texas in Austin. You put your sharp mind and boundless energy to work in legal and investment banking industries because you had younger sisters you promised to help through college. After you honored that commitment, you brought your leadership skills to a community development corporation in Harlem. You knew from your childhood experience that poor and working class people deserved habitable housing and fresh food. Your leadership turned vacant lots into homes. Harlem received its first major grocery store. You became a vice president at the Rockefeller Foundation and helped rebuild New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. As president of the Ford Foundation, you opened a door leading Detroit away from the brink of bankruptcy. When you were a child, you attended Head Start programs. Pell Grants paid your college tuition. Now you head one of the world's largest philanthropies. No supposed barrier deterred you, not blackness in a nation marred by racism, nor poverty in a land of plenty, nor being gay when loving someone of your same gender could invite violence. You believed in yourself. You accepted help from others. You improved yourself. Now you serve others. When you became president of the Ford Foundation, you made it a priority to end human inequality. Under your leadership, the Ford Foundation commits long-term financial support so that individuals and organizations can create stronger organizations, not just efficient programs. With humor and grace, integrity and intelligence, you transformed the Ford Foundation's culture. It was a patron. Now it is a partner working with others for justice and equity. President Rose, on behalf of the college, I am humbled and inspired to present Darren Walker for the degree Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa.
Darren Walker, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Candidati, pro gradu baccalaureali assurgite. That means you stand. Femina honoranda, osque juvenes coscensio idoneos, primum ad gradum in artibus, nuptibia ferro, utite instructus, eos ad grandum istum admittum, placet ne?
Plaquette.
Pro auctoritate mihi commissa, admitto vos ad primum gradum in artibus, et dono, et concedo, omnia iura privilegia, honoris atque dignitates ad grandum istum pertinentia, in cuius testimonium hasce membranas litteris scriptas accipite.
Zemzem Mahdi Abderrahman. Maggie Sue Acosta. Mason. Laura Adumi. Jewu An. Faustino Eleuterio Ahanel. Zachary Wessler Albert. Charlotte Maca Alamanestianu. Nicole Ashley Ampati. John Lyle Anderson. Kivante Lagerian Anderson. Lloyd Bruce Anderson. Julian Anglada. Winston Orlando Anthony Antoine Jr. Sky Emmeline Aresti. Shawit Tesfalam Esfaha. Henry Christopher Austin. Miguel Aviles. Adam Anthony Bacopoulos. Alexander Payne Barker. Lee Montgomery Barker. Daniel Michael Barone. Virginia Lee Barr. Eli Solomon Bass. Alexa Morgan Baumgartner. Anna Gabriel Behrman. Emma Harris Beecher. Anthony Davis Bellavia. Nicholas Henry Benfey. Sophie Christine Beyrube. Sabine Y. Berzins. Julia McNeely Binswanger. Brianna Marie Bishop. Ella Medora Blanchon. Carl Davon Poiron. Timothy Bartlett Boyd. Ashley Bomboka. Lauren Catherine Bostick. Ariana Ann Bork. Brian North Bowser. Anna Isabel Bradley Webb. Shannon Hannah Brady. John Milo Mahaffey Branch. Catherine Margaret Broderick. Matthew Casey Bramell. Rachel Elizabeth Brooke. Charles Vincent Brown III. Adeline Hallie Brown. Marissa Monique Browning Kamens. Evan Marlowe Bullman. Jillian Carolyn Burke. Grace Madeline Butler. Ariana Cameron. Heidi Hui Zhao. Alana Kelly Carpenter. Christopher Taylor Carr. Catherine Galway Carter. Addison Monique Carvajal. Suzanne Casey. Tara Nicole Salata. Christian Stewart Celeste Tate. Isara Chansakal. Samuel Burgoyne Chase. Xiaobo Chen in absentia. Tiffany Catherine Cheng. In absentia. Alexander Charles Cheston. Keith Charles Chiarello. Cameron Joseph Chisholm. Meredith Christian. Jeffrey Yaohin Chung. Catherine Rose Churchill. Peter James Simony. Benjamin Joseph Citron. Graham Michael Clark. Michael Joseph Colbert. Madeline Lanowette Cole. Catherine Ann Coleman. Caroline Dudley Coles. Matthew Aaron Cooper. Emily Ellen Cormier. Kenneth Walter Cordum III. Talia May Cowan. Emily Brackett Cuevas. Benjamin Wu Cummings in absentia. Madeleine Lee Daly. William Buckner Danforth. Nikhil Dasgupta. Francesca Allegra Dausch Rivera. Christina Marie Davis. Madeline Barrett Davis. Bill Delarosa. William Miles Dean. Audrey Ann DeFusco. Carolina Diefeld Strezi. Andrew DeYoung. Jamie Witter Denton. Claire Margaret DeSantis. Dion A. Desir. Charlotte Janine Dillon. Silas Wheeler Domi. Tomas Donatelli Pitfield. James Thomas Donnellan. Jake Parsons Donley. Kathleen Gina Dorado. Connor Ashford Dumont. Ruby Duran. Evan Matthew Eklund. Jacob Manning Ellis. William Andrew Engel. Connor Burke Evans. Nicole Emily Faber. Tracy Ray Faber. Anhar Farag. Noah Alexander Farden. Nathan Henry Farland in absentia. Gregoire Francois Fauché. Jared Evan Feldman. Christopher Mark Fenwick. Hannah Lane Foyer. Noah Benjamin Finberg. Elizabeth Ann Findley. Adam Russell Fitzgerald. Matthew Kim Foley. Andrew John Fraden. Brian Patrick Francoeur. Sarah Frances Frankel. Kelsey Joe Freeman. Megan Maria Freiberger. Allison Michko Fulton. Janelle Bria Gaylard Blenheim. Catalina Sophia Gallagher. Leela Duncan Garner. Did I miss one? Excuse me. Madeline Emily Fulton. Samantha Natalie Garvey. Caitlin Carlson Gately. Shen Ge. Julia Marie Gaumont. Stephen Fred Girolamo. Alexandra Rose Glass-Katz. Henry A. Gleish. Margot Carney Godley. Sergio Gomez. William Hudnut Clarkson Goodenough. Westerly Goreab. Matthew Simon Goroff. Emily Rose Gower. Catherine Ellenwood Gracie. Allison Alicia Gross. Junru Go. Kyle Russell Gertowski. Frances Elizabeth Gerzenda. Matthew Gutierrez. Matthew Theodore Gutschenritter. Mariana Guzman Marquez.
Nina Hajababich. Andrew Greer Hager. Benjamin Paulicki Hiley. Colton Tyler Hall. Sarah Luann Hamilton. Tess Marie Hembolt Hamilton. Mary Frances Harris. Simonetta Elena Harrison. James Gibson Hartley. Lucas Jean Houseman. Nora Ann Hefner. Michaela Deborah Helbley. Hollis Calvin Henry. Kristen Marybelle Hilbert. William Chase Hodge Brokenburr. Samuel Haggis Hodgson Jr. Jamie Eileen Hofstetter. Michelle Katie Hong. Christian Ivan Houston Floyd. Anna Celia Howard. Derek Mackenzie Hoyt. Julian Martin Huertas. Jennifer Bentley Hughes. Erica Joy Hutner Hummel. Inho Huang. Romeo Jordan Ibanez IV. Isaac Alexander Morris Yeagerman. Sophia Elizabeth Janes. James Henry Ryan Jellin. Christine Elizabeth Jewett. David E.S. Jimenez. Francis Nicole Jimenez. Marcela Sofia Jimenez. Andrew Nicholas Jones. Yema Jennifer Julian. Kimberly J. Conweiler. Molly Maloney Kane. Michael Minky Kang. Connor Michael Keefe. William Tyler Harris Kennefake. Maria Solis Kennedy. Rachel Morgan Kennedy. Elizabeth Lee Kenny. Mackenzie Lee Kessel. Amina Khan. He Kong. Bridget Rose Killian. June Sue Kim. May Kim. Emily Mertens King. Oliver Klingenstein in absentia. Lucy McLean Knowlton. Philip Henry Harris Koch. Sasha Jane Kramer. Phoebe Jordan Cranefuss. Bridget Jacqueline Kranz. Charles Augustus Krause V. Michelle Crook. Catherine Lenk Krupp in absentia. Martin Alexander Criswy. Emily Hannah Kushner Salatin. John Joseph Lagasse. Emily Jean Lambden. Sinead Murphy Lamel in absentia. Tess Jameson Lamire. Adam Harris Lamont. Natalie Lynn LaPlante. Brendan Francis Xavier Lawler. Oliver James Herrera Lawrence. Wynne Victoria Leahy. Hannah Rose LeBlanc. Victoria Harrison Lee. Anna Michaela Leon. Victor Baldemar Leos. David Michael Levine, Sarah Catherine Levy, Skylar Benjamin Lewis, Marco Lee, Tyrone Lee, Andrew Van Zant Lynn, Matthew James Liptrot, Madeline Moray Livaday, Madeline Woods Livingston, Alondra Marie Lopez, Dashiell Xavier Laura, Selena Joanne Laurie, Taylor Houghton Love, Chris Liu, Lucy Chuying Luo, Alexander Ma, Jonathan Nicholas McCat, Christopher Stone McDonald, Jacob Martin McDonald, Hector Magana, Megan Marie Marr, Abigail Warner Mahoney, Julia Elizabeth Main, John Matthew Malusa, Marina Catherine Marlins, Hannah Mae Marshall, Chad Lawrence Martin, Carolyn Martinez Fick, Samuel Jason Main, Emily Marie McAdden, Bridget Megan McCarthy, Stephen William McClelland, Ian Ellis McDowell, Raleigh Elise McElvery, Erin Alondra Melkissick, Julia Catherine Mead, Julia Nicole Melman, Daniel Antonio Mahia Cruz, Stephen Gabriel Melgar, Maxwell Asa Middleton, Kathleen Margaret Miklas, Andrew David Millar, August John Miller, David Michael Miller, Haley Spina Miller, Hunter Robert Miller, Morgan Marie Mills, Skylin Chekna Monaco, Nathan Edward Moody, Kylie Nicole Moore, Adrian Moreno, Brandon Paul Morin, Nicole Josephine Morin, Bailey Annabelle Moritz, Simone Jamil Mushabek, Kelsey Ann Mullaney, Parker Severinson Munt, Andrew James Morochik, Leah Christina Murphy, Trevor Patrick Murray, Jacob David Muscato, Christopher Ryan George Nadeau, Sean James Nagar, Sophia Lynn Namara, Kimberly Elizabeth Nault, Daniel Harris Navarro, Nicole Ann Nelson, Matthew Richard Netto, Aaron D. Ing, Paul New in absentia, Brian Nguyen, Emily Halsey Wynn, Wilder Aiden Nicholson, Kendra Ann Novak, Megan Carey O'Connor, Nabil Motunrayo David Odulate, Sean Patrick Offner, Jesse Ortiz, Meredith Rhiannon Ott.
Yvette Paula. Matthew Louis Pilecki. Benjamin Arendt Pallant. Tara Eve Palnitkar. Ananth Patak, Raj Patak. Emma Bars Patterson, Kevin Brian Perron. Mary Emma Peters. Olivia Moran Pfeiffer. Audrey Hart Phillips. Lishana Yolanda Finizzi. Lindsay Ann Picard. Caroline Irene Pierce. Anna Wells Piotti. Mark Francis Pizzi in absentia. Seamus Harrington Power. Peter Francis Powers. Apeksha Prasai. Simon Thomas Pritchard. Ali Jordan Reagan. Catherine Lynn Randall. Violet Juliana Ranson. Mariah Aaron Sullivan Reading. Thomas Cornell Rehnquist. Alexander Bayard Riesling. Gab Renault. Peter Weidel Reuter. Julia Robertson Rue. Anna Rose Reyes. Maya Indira Reyes. Jordan Weinstein Richmond. Harrison Robert Ridge. Daisha Marie Diane Roberts. Alexander Marsal Roche. Itzel Rosales in absentia. Thomas Stern Rosenblatt. Brandon Shane Rothman. David Langdon Rowe. Abby Elizabeth Roy. Harry David Rube. Matthew Jordan Rubinoff. Madeline Cormier Rutan. Charlotte Wynne Rutty. Alexandra Grace Sadler. Ryan Alexander Sanderson. Dylan Michael Sandhu. Panpavi Sang Suradej. Franco Sacieta. Charles A. Savage. Sophie Drake Sawyers. Elena Mae Schaaf. Hallie Thatcher Schaefer. Claire Laurel Skolert. Kaylee Catherine Schweitzer. Harper Scott. Emily Fifield Serwer. Margaret Ryan Seymour. Caitlin Sullivan Schaefer. John Dylan Schamberger. Lucas Carpenter Shaw. Matthew T. Shen. Joseph Patrick Sherlock. Alexander Shee. Martin Lee Schott. Sue M. Sim. Lucy Eliza Skinner. Kenneth J. Scon. Nicole Morgan Smith. Emily Mae Snyder. Rachel Nicole Snyder. Brendan McKee Sohn. Francis Veronica Saktoma. Kiefer Andrew Solarte. Christina Margaret Sowers. Ava Olivia Spey. Demetria Andrea Spathakis. Paige Spate. David Elliott Sperber. Mintra Srimanchanda. Cody Castle Stack. Michael Edward Sargent Stays. Gina Marie Stalika. Emily Claire Stetkevich. Emily Ruth Staten Stewart. Olivia Gardner Stone. Caitlin Joan Sahita. James Kingsley Sullivan. Paul Sullivan. Harry Charles Summers. Lily Sussman. Ryan Joseph Zantier. Serena Moral Taj. Emily Robinson Talbot. Julian Andres Tamayo. Nicole K. Tan. Roberto Daño Tavil. Caitlin Elise Tuberge. Alexander Carl Thomas. Gregory Thompson. Connor Austin Tillingast. Chandler Garrett Tinsman. Lucy Tom. Nicholas Gabriel Lunsing Tonkins. Kasidet Jing Trera Yapiwat. Luke Tan Trinka. Tenzin Dolkar Zagong. Abigail Rose Turner. Kirsten Morrison Turner. Thomas Burdick Tyree III. Davis Gustav Unruh. Javier Vadea. William James Valley. David Raphael Vargas. Carolyn Marie Veyer. Claire Alvari Velez. Andrew Robert Villeneuve. Kayla McIntyre Weiss. Elena Michelle Vladaver. Luke Cody Von Mauer. Aaron Rebecca Voss. Jape Hui Vu. Haley June Wall. Nicholas David Walker. Sarah Adams Wallace. Jenna Reeser Watling in absentia. Zachary Moore Watson. Colin Claflin Waycott. Margaret Smith Webster. Jamie Roy Wiesbach in absentia. Benjamin Matthew West. Aaron Westind. Nicole Amanda Wetzman. Helen Lincoln Wiefring. Thomas Wiesner. Anna Pierce Williams. Matthew Anthony Williams. Matthew Stallings Willen. Woodworth Bell Windmill. June Ju Huan Wu. Cody Philip Woods. Lila Grace Wright. Xiaobo Summer Siha. Venetia Xu. Adela Yang. Peter Maxwell Jansen. Joanne Jabet Yego. Young-Hoon Michelle Yo. Shauna Lee Yu. Marcella Laura Zigara Bayon. Alina Yang. Lydia Hangping Zhang. Phoebe Zhang. Rachel Lee Zhang. Kevin Scott Zmozinski. Elizabeth May Znamorowski. Joe Wei Zhou.
Olivia Ondine DeSerio.
Courtney Elizabeth Coos. Erin Elizabeth Mullins.
Now, this is the part where I say consedite, which means to sit, but you're already sitting, so I won't say that part. We invite everyone here to give a huge round of applause for the newest graduates of Bowdoin College. I'd now like to invite to the podium Roberto Tavel, the senior class president, who will offer a few words. Robo?
Thank you, President Rose. In inviting me up to speak, you've made the first major mistake of your Bowdoin tenure. Still, it is an honor to be up here today. First off, standing at this podium, I find myself keenly aware of the number of people who've made the trek to Maine for this occasion. There is seldom a better feeling in life than knowing you've made your loved ones proud, so thank you all for coming. Now, figuring out what to say in this brief speech has been no easy task. My mother made me promise that I'd tell at least 3 jokes. My father reminded me that the Gettysburg Address said a lot in just 4 minutes. My sister encouraged me to avoid cliches, and my friends kindly told me to keep things interesting. In other words, I will be disappointing many people today. Still, if I were to reflect on just one element of my Bowdoin experience, it would be the following. Simply put, Bowdoin has been the most disorienting experience of my life. When I arrived in Brunswick 4 years ago, I came with a firm worldview. Here, I expected to equip myself with the knowledge to justify it. When confronted with an opinion I disagreed with, I hoped to learn the perfect quote to win the argument. Maybe I'd even sprinkle in John Locke or Socrates. Next, having demonstrated my literacy, the path to success would open before me. This was the offer of the college as I once saw it. Thankfully, Bowdoin has fallen short by this measure. Here, I've grown most not by learning some great quantity of information, but by unlearning things that I had long taken for granted. It's been self-criticism of my background, my identity, my religion, even my political party that has made my time here so meaningful. I leave Bowdoin not with the power of the right facts, but the power of the right questions. This, to me, will be life's far more versatile compass. With appreciation for all that Bowdoin has given me, it is my pleasure to announce the results of this year's senior class gift campaign. Thanks to the generosity of so many, our class gift will be a scholarship for a member of the class of 2020. As of today, 79% of the classes participated in the campaign. While I recognize that this has been no ordinary year in campus discourse, I encourage those of us who have not yet donated to consider doing so.
Ultimately, it is only through our lasting involvement in this campus that we can help mold it into the open forum it aspires to be. On that note, I'd like to conclude with the most heartfelt of thank yous to all of the people who have made my Bowdoin experience so special. To my professors, thank you for your guidance and your wisdom. Yes, a couple of you were harsher than I would have liked on those final papers my sophomore spring. I still remember, but I suppose I'm better for it. To all of those who work behind the scenes to keep the lights on at the college, your work has not gone unnoticed by the 466 of us who graduate today. Thank you for all that you do. And last but certainly not least, to my peers in the class of 2016. Though my cliché-phobic sister may cringe when I say this, I really believe that you all are remarkable people. I cannot wait to see the good you do in the world and the buildings you donate to the college. While our orbits will in the coming years grow more distant, our connection to a certain smiling sun remains. Let us cherish that bond. I wish each of you nothing but health and success in all that you pursue, and look forward to seeing many familiar faces at our 5-year reunion. Thank you, Bowdoin, from the bottom of my heart.
Robo is well on his way to becoming a college president. Congratulations again to our graduates and newest alumni. Following the recessional, there is lunch in Farley Fieldhouse, and we invite you all to join us there. I now would like to invite George Lopez and the seniors who are members of the chamber choir, the chorus, and the a cappella groups to return to the podium and to lead us in the singing of the Alma Mater, which you will find in the back of your program. It's like Field of Dreams, where they emerge from the... you'll find the words in the last page of your program, and I'd like to ask everyone to please stand for the singing of our Alma Mater. If I can ask everyone to remain standing for the processional, the 211th commencement, I now bring Marshal Barker back to the podium.
Will guests please remain in their seats until the recessional march is past? The 211th commencement of Bowdoin College is now concluded.